where we are today again, the day 7 of our 25 days of financial growth. Just like we do it, let's keep the energy rolling. Let's know that you are here. Let's know where you are joining us from. If you are just joining us for the first time, just know that you've missed a bit, but not so much, right? Today we're talking about debt, good versus leverage or a liability. And like I said, today is day 7. If you're just joining us, you're in for a good ride, right? Um,
Josephine, I can't hear you. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello? I need to be sure that are we streaming? Are we live? Josephine, I think your network must be really bad. Do you think we should end this live and start again?
I
don't know why I'm not
reconnect.
hearing anything. I've never had this issue before. Hello?
I can hear you.
Are you saying something? Oh, the audio was low from my end. So I think it's from my end that I couldn't hear you. I can hear you now.
now.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Has the network been good?
So I was saying that today is day 7, and if you're just joining us, you've missed a lot. But anyways, we are going just like that. Continue with us on this ride. And the topic for today is debt, good versus bad. Is it a leverage or a liability? And we've been talking. We've had some of my colleagues, and this is my second time on this virtual stage with her. I feel so honored. Okay, so ma'am, I'm going to be passing the mic to you, just like we always do.
I always come with the energy. I'm trying to set up my Instagram.
Okay.
But what people don't realize is sometimes the energy is make believe. I am making myself believe that I have energy. Because the reality is tonight is not the energy night, but we're still going to make it work. To a large extent, you are going to mute yourself. Again. So, good debts or bad debts? Good debts or bad debts? What qualifies as a good debt? What qualifies as a bad debt? That is what we're talking about today in our mid-year financial reset. And our goal is to help you finish 2026 strong in a better state financially. And if this is your first time joining, you have missed 6 days of Gbasgbos knowledge, tips, tools to help us finish our year strong, reset our year, and position for the best ever. So if you're just joining, let me know your name and where you're watching from. Don't forget to share this video. This is not the video that you leave passive. This is the one you share with friends and family because, if somebody has come to ask you for urgent 2K, you understand debt. If somebody has come to meet you that they are owing OPay, they are owing all these platforms and they need help, if you've ever gotten a text message from all those companies that will tell you your friend so and so is a chronic debtor. They know how to use those firm language. Your friend is a chronic debtor and you should come and rescue your friend or warn your friend to pay the debt. Then you should watch this video till the end because we're going to be extracting good debts, bad debts, how to leverage liabilities appropriately. So welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. We have a community on WhatsApp for this 25 days reset, and they have assignments that we give on a daily basis and weekend basis to help them internalize the things we're sharing with them. It's a free community that would encourage and nurture your growth. I am Tokwe Mark Odige, the CEO of REB Reb 360, Real Estate Business 360. That's the name of Reb 360. That's the name of my business. What we do is real estate. We are a platform for wealth creation and people empowerment. Before you get bored and start strolling away from our amazing knowledge-packed session, let's talk about good debts or bad debts. What do you know about debts? Drop it in the comments. Do you think debts are good? Do you think debts are bad? Are you one of those that will say, God forbid, it will never happen to me? Are you one of those that will say, anything that I have to borrow money to buy is not the will of God? Are you one of those that feel it's not a big deal? If I borrow, I'll pay it back. That kind of thing. It depends. How would you categorize yourself? Someone who is comfortable with debt or someone that panics at the thought of debt? Some people, once they are owing money like this, they have to start doing bing, 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 bing. They cannot sleep. They can't think because they've associated a lot of negativity with being in debt. So thank you all for joining. Don't forget to let me know your name, where you're watching from, and do not forget to share the video. If you want the full dose of our amazing session, please head over to YouTube at Rep 360 TV on YouTube. That's where the full deal is because that's where you see my co-host. On Instagram, you only hear her voice, but it doesn't reduce the impact, just means go to YouTube if you are currently interested in the full video of what this looks like. Today has been a very, very busy day for me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm extremely tired. However, we have already made a commitment to being here, and that's what life is about. It's about showing up, whether it's convenient or not, and being consistent and committed to our goals. 2026 will be your best year ever, but it would require you to show up. It will require you to show up. Show up whether you feel like it. Show up whether you are busy. Show up whether you're tired. Show up whether you are in the mood. Show up whether you're not in the mood. You just got to show up. And that's what I'm doing tonight, and yet to be impactful. So thank you, Adirunke, for joining. Adirunke is joining from Lagos. YouTube people, please put your name where you're watching from. Facebook, put your name and where you're watching from. And don't forget to share this video. Share it now, 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 now. Share, share, share. Like, share it right away. Like, share, subscribe. Josephine, what's the first point? I got you. I know you got me. You have something that will lead this conversation. So go and dig it out. I want to hear.
Okay, ma'am. So we're just going to start with good debt. Basically, how do we define a good debt? What qualifies a loan as okay, this is a good loan or a bad loan?
Mary from London, thank you for joining us. What qualifies something as a good loan or bad loan? Number one, is it taking money? Is it taking money from you? Can it generate income? Is it saving you money? Or is it just costing you money? If the loan is used for something that is cash generating, revenue generating, it is an asset. If you take a loan for an asset, awesome. Asset is something that is cash generating, revenue generating. If you are taking a loan for that, then you are doing something that makes sense. If you are taking loan for a liability, if I am borrowing money to buy a phone, if I'm borrowing money to buy wig, if I'm borrowing money to buy clothes, if I'm borrowing money to buy shoes, if I'm borrowing money to do anything that is not bringing me revenue, will make sense. It's not wisdom. So essentially, what I'm saying is anything that takes money away from you, that you are using a debt to service, is not a wise debt move. That's your question, right? Nick watching from Dutchland. Oh my God. Interesting. Welcome to the show. Good evening, Mary. Mary from London. Good evening. Good evening. Please don't forget to share the video. We're talking about debt today, good or bad, leverage or liability. And liability is usually from the category of, we're talking about things that become a weight on you. So if I buy something and that thing doesn't add value to me, it's a weight. And if something becomes a weight, then it is, and I borrow money for that weight, it is a bad debt. But if I am using money for something that brings money into my pocket, so let's say I'm borrowing money now and I'm borrowing money to buy a house, and the house I'm buying is a cash generating asset. When I buy the house, I'm getting rental income every month from that house, and I pay my debt off and I still have profit, good debt. If I'm borrowing money and I'm using it to buy, let's say I'm buying a car, but the particular car I'm buying is a truck and I'm leasing the truck, and the money I make from leasing the truck is bringing me revenue, good debt. If I'm borrowing money and I'm borrowing the money to eat, bad debt. If I'm borrowing the money to do wedding, bad debt. If I'm borrowing the money to pay for school fees, good and bad debt, two in one. If your cost that you're paying for is not relevant, if it is a cost that the career is not going to bring you opportunities, it becomes a bad debt. However, if the cost you are paying for would become a leverage that would help you earn more, good debt. So you need to look at it from the lens of, is it going to just take away money from my pocket permanently, or is it something that by virtue of this thing is bringing in money into my pocket? That is how you ration good or bad debt. Just saying, if you're just joining, it's 25 days Gbasgbos. It's a financial reset, 25 days of financial reset. And the goal is to help you get knowledge that will be useful for you to finish the year strong. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, in fact, there's so
Okay.
much noise in your background.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
go ahead.
Apologies.
Mhm.
So I'm going to say it's more like a question, but trying to put it like in a scenario sharp. So if someone says, TMO, here is 100
Mm.
million naira loan, what would be the first thing that would come to your mind if someone is offering you that amount of money?
So, thank you very much. That's a really good question. If I'm being offered money, is the person going to want to collect the money back from me? I need to confirm that. You see, sometimes we don't discuss what's this debt, what's the percentage of the debt, like how much am I paying you back? If you give me 100 million naira, or give me, let me just say 100,000 naira, or you give me 100 naira, how much do you want back at the end, and at what time do you want it back? Sometimes we collect money just because we need money. We don't think about the impact of paying back the money. We don't think about what will happen. How would I pay it? What would I use the money for? You have given me this money. What do you expect me to pay you back? And when do you expect me to pay you back? So give me 100 million. You say pay back in 5 years. Okay. The total amount I'll be paying you, if it is it going to be 125? That means I'm paying 25% over that period of time. Or am I paying back in 5 years and every year I'm paying you 25 million, 25 million, 25 million, which means at the end of 5 years, I'll have paid you maybe 200 million naira. Does that make sense? Sometimes just by understanding and asking clear terms, what is this debt breakdown? Because it's easy for you to collect money. You know, they do a lot of adverts. Buy and pay in installments. Buy and pay in installments. You're collecting the money, but you're not conscious of what you are going to. This installment, if I'm paying outright, how much is it? 2 million naira. But if I pay in installment, I'm paying 3 million naira. 1 million naira extra. Let me squeeze myself and pay that 2 million naira at once. I'm doing a program with China Euro Business School, and they gave the option of instrumental payments for our school fees. And they gave outright payment option. And if we pay outright, she said 800,000 naira. I jumped at the outright payment option because I looked at it that I was saving money. Every time you take a loan, it is costing you money. So ask yourself, what am I using this loan for? What is expected? So if you give me 100 million naira right now, if you give me 100 million naira 10 years ago, I would have mismanaged the money. If you gave me 100 million naira 5 years ago, I probably would have still mismanaged it a bit because I didn't have the capacity to fix it in the right places. But if you give me 100 million naira now, I have clarity on how I will multiply that money. But before collecting the money, I would ask, what is the interest rate? Do I have a moratorium? When do you expect me to start paying? And what is the percentage I'll be paying in total at the end of the day? Because they can tell you the interest rate is 20%, the interest rate is 10%, but you have this 1% charge for something, 3% insurance. Like if you now add everything together in naira and kobo, tell me the total I'll pay. You might walk away from that debt. Many people go into mortgages. They go and borrow money to buy a house. Let's say the house is worth 50 million naira. By the time you add the mortgage fees and you are paying over a 15-year period, you're not paying 50 million anymore. You might end up paying like 80, 100 million naira because you are spreading over 15 years. So you ask yourself, am I going to be happy? Don't tell yourself I'm borrowing a mortgage to pay for a 50 million naira house, because what you are going to end up paying is not the 50 million naira. You will pay the charges. So don't ignore the charges because you are getting a loan. You need to be conscious of the charges even as you are getting a loan. Are we together? Do you understand me? So that is one of the things I feel the mistakes people make. People make mistakes of borrowing money without understanding the entirety of what they will pay, the charges that will be involved in it. Then in Nigeria, when you're borrowing money, you put a collateral down. So you don't go and borrow money without collateral. Now ask yourself, are you willing to let go of the collateral if you can't pay the money? Some are, you are borrowing money of, let's say I want to borrow 100 million naira and the collateral I'm giving is like 500 million naira. Are you willing to let go of the 500 million naira over the 100 million naira you're borrowing? You need to be able to think about it. Am I willing to let it go? If life happens, do I want to walk away from this transaction? Nobody thinks of the worst case scenario, but it happens. And so when you are taking debt, you need to be conscious of the worst case scenario. I am personally very wary of debt. Josephine, what's your situation? Are you someone that is comfortable with borrowing money, or you are one that thinks twice, thinks 3 times before you borrow money?
They will know. Maybe why when I was an undergraduate, like my final year and stuff, I had like a loop of debt. I was just like, oh, you give me here, you give me here, you give me here, because of something happened at home. So it made me now borrow from people like that. But I was able to pay back. But then it was so strenuous to pay back. So I told myself that if the thing is not very important, just forget it. And if you can still manage, try and manage. So I usually just avoid owing in quotes.
Mm. Okay, so I'd like our viewers to comment. Have you ever borrowed money? How much is the highest amount you have borrowed, and how easy was it for you to pay back this amount of money that you borrowed? I'd love you to put it in the comments. Have you ever borrowed money before? How easy was it to pay back the money? Because I understand that there are many people that have different debt stories, and I'd like you to ask questions in the comments so that we understand your scenario and we can properly address it. Over to you, Justin.
Yes, ma'am. So from what you just said, you've listed out what to consider when someone is, getting loan. You need to know your repayment, you need to know the repayment plan. You need to have a clear understanding of the loan terms. You need to know about the interest, and you also need to consider if you are going to willing to let go of the collateral, even if you default payment. So ma, I'm going to say something. Nigeria today's economy is wonderful, right? And yes, so with rising interest rates, sometimes when I open Zenda maybe to send files and stuff, you just see advert. If you borrow this, you pay back the so directly, old cash, kidiko, easy pay and the likes like that. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that, is it still advisable to borrow in Nigeria with the current situation of the economy? And what types of loans are generally to be avoided?
Okay. Avoid any loan that is funding your lifestyle. If you are borrowing money to cover transport fare, don't do it. Borrowing money to cover transport fare, borrowing money so that you can buy food to eat, don't do it. I would rather you beg money to buy food if you are hungry than borrow money to buy food. And I don't like begging, but that's how much I would like you to avoid borrowing money for something that is a consumable. In this economy, I would not advise you borrow money for anything frivolous that is not going to return the money to you. So if I am buying anything I'm borrowing money for must be able to return the money back to me. That's the only condition with which you can borrow money. If it will not return money back to you, don't borrow the money. So I can borrow money for my business expansion, but I'll not borrow money for something that won't give me money back. No. And I would advise you to do the same. Don't borrow money for something that will not give money back. I have some comments on Instagram I want to read. Somebody was like, I barely borrow. I used to think taking loan is bad until I attended the conference last year. Now, taking loan is not a bad thing, depending on what you are taking the loan for. That's why I said today our conversation is on good debt and bad debts. If you are taking a loan to expand your business, let's say you currently are making 10 million naira in turnover in a month, and you know there is a demand for your business. You just need more money to buy more products. Maybe you sell t-shirts, or yes, you sell t-shirts. So if I'm selling t-shirts and I can only buy 10 of different colors, but if I put in like 50 million naira into the business, I can bring in from China myself, and I would trade the business and the money will cover my interest that I'll be paying. That's a good loan. For business expansion, good loan. To create the working capital, good loan. If you have taken a loan so that you can put very nice chairs and table in your office, bad loan. Because chairs and table in your office is not going to repay the loan. But if you use your loan for inventory, you can repay those loans back. So that is the difference. It's the way I see loans. So another person dropped the comment on Instagram, and the person was asking the question. Let me see. The person said that, personally, I have a phobia for borrowing money. My mind will not be at rest. It depends on what you're borrowing money from. I have a phobia not for borrowing money, but for owing money generally. However, if what I'm owing, if I'm owing, let's say I'm owing 100,000 naira, but the thing that I bought with the money is worth 500,000 naira, you see, you will not be worried. If I borrowed 100,000 naira and I bought power banks, let's put it that way, I borrowed 100,000 naira and I bought power banks, and I bought 10 power banks at the rate of 10,000 naira wholesale price, but I will resell this power bank at 20,000 naira or 15,000 naira each. So my 100,000 naira has suddenly become 150,000 naira. I would not be worried. My goal is anyhow, I must sell the power bank. And once I sell it, I can pay my borrowed money, my interest, as well as I then have a little more cash in my pocket. So I am totally for borrowing money to buy assets. You see what? Another thing I don't like. Cecilia just mentioned, I have a phobia for borrowing, but I do easy buy. What are you buying? What's the easy buy? You know how people will tell you, come and buy the wig. The wig is 50,000 naira, but you can pay in 3 installments. You can pay in 5 installments. Is a wig an essential thing? If it's not an asset, I will not even buy it on installmental payment. Have I bought wig on installmental payment? I'll confess, yes. I have bought wig on installmental payment. And why I bought it because I'm not owing the money. I dropped the money and I told them, whenever I balance, you can give me the wig. If I don't balance it, yes, I've lost the money. Is that I don't want to pay upfront. I don't want to pay the entire money. I want to break the payment into teeny weeny bits. So if what you are acquiring is not an asset, but is something that will give you comfort. So let's say you are having body pains and you want to buy a new mattress. You don't have the money to buy a new mattress completely, but Easy Buy will give you the opportunity to buy a new mattress while you are paying in installment. Now, the flip side of that is you get a good night's sleep. Your brain is sharper. You can make more money. You have found a way to see how this loan you are borrowing is elevating your lifestyle and empowering you to earn more money. Then it's a good thing. But if I am borrowing money to buy it, and almost anything can be justified, but you know the truth yourself. You know the things that you don't need it. You know the things that are irrelevant. You know the things that you had no business borrowing money for. People borrow money to buy shoes. Shoes that you cannot afford. You want to buy a shoe, you are paying for 1 year. Borrow money to buy phone, then you lost the phone or the screen got broken. Phone that you have not finished paying for, they stole the phone from your hand. I do not agree with those kind of loans. I do not support them. I don't agree with them. You need to be able to make intentional decisions. I sell real estate with installmental payment, and it comes across like a little bit of debt because you have something that is taking money from your pocket on a monthly basis. But it's a kind of loan I like because it's a debt that is stretching me into an asset class that is increasing my portfolio. So if I am paying in installments for a land or a house, I know I am paying towards a goal. That goal inspires and motivates me and drives my desire and my ambition to work even harder. But if what I'm paying for is a liability that is not generating any income, then it's a waste of money. Really, at the end of the day, you need to weigh every financial decision you are making. Is it an asset or a liability? Is it a leverage or a liability? And if you find out that what you're doing is a liability, step out of it. Don't do it. Think again and delay your purchases. We've spoken almost every day about limiting impulsive buying, and that's because impulsive buying is the only way you end up buying something you regret. But if you think about it over and over again, you end up making better decisions. So don't jump into don't jump into taking a loan to buy anything without discussing with 2 or 3 people before you go ahead. To be sure, I really want this. I really need this. This morning, I was about to make a financial decision. And before I made the financial decision, I called my friend. My friend was like, don't even try it. Because of what? Just so that you don't feel embarrassed by a situation. You know how sometimes people borrow money to buy a Ashwebi so that I won't be the odd one out. That is ridiculous. You are borrowing money to buy a Ashwebi for a wedding or a burial, so you don't look like the odd one out. You better be odd and have credit than be among the crowd and owe the money. It's not wisdom. Don't do it. The shocking thing is, maybe you now borrow the money, you've not even finished paying for the money, the couple now divorce themselves. You now be like, so what's the cocoa of this matter? The ashwebi gone, debt on ground. And in most cases, people don't rewear ashwebis. People buy ashwebi and they can't rewear it because, like, the ashwebi is so unique and dramatic for the occasion. Especially all those ashwebi that they will now use hundreds of thousands of naira to sew. So you buy the ashwebi very expensive, you make it very elaborate. You make the very elaborate ashwebi, maybe deep cleavage, embellishment, dramatic neck piece or hand piece. You can't wear it to church. Every other party you are going for, they are calling their own color. You have gone to go and buy cockroach brown. Sorry, where are you going to wear cockroach brown to? It doesn't make any financial sense. Worst case scenario is you now borrowed money to buy that cockroach brown ashwebi. The next party, they say they want onion color. Somebody is calling butterfly green. Weird things that they will call up, and you are sort of without. I don't want to use any. I'm usually just to be careful. You gullibly indulge in expenses that do not add value to your life long term. We are talking about debts. There are good debts, there are bad, especially for my Nigerians in diaspora. Many of them travel and have access to credit card. They have access to cards from every shopping mall, and they're acquiring debts. They are swiping their Macy's card, swiping their Burlington card, swiping, like every company has their own card. You are swiping and owing money across different companies. There's no financial freedom in debt, so except you are in a good debt that is paying you back, in an asset class that is giving you returns that covers your interest. So always ask the question. Never just collect a loan without asking, what is my interest? If I borrow this money and I pay over the next how many months or how many years, how much am I actually going to pay? Naira, kobo, dollar, pounds, yen, whatever, specifically. When you hear the actual amount you are paying back, not just percentage, you might reconsider borrowing that money. Don't get desperate to the point where you borrow money that you don't need. That's a key opinion for me, that I believe if you want to finish 2026 strong, you can just tell yourself from now till the end of the year, no loans, no more debts. And for those of you already indebted, you can set a target to clear out those debts. Because you see, the challenge about borrowing money is the money keeps on, it keeps growing. You borrow 10,000 naira, you're paying back 25,000 naira. That's not a math that makes sense. And if you delay in paying that money, from 10,000, it becomes 50,000 naira just because you did not pay it. Every month you default on payment, your loan is increasing in value. That's not wisdom. That's not wisdom. That's not wisdom. And in most cases, when you ask, what did you use the money for? They really can't point to anything. Nothing tangible. The money didn't go into anything tangible, anything with clear, anything that is bringing you growth. The money didn't go there. So let's have the conversation in truth. Over to you, Josephine. Josephine, I cannot hear you. You muted yourself.
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am.
I can hear you now.
Thank. All right, ma'am. So we have realtors, we have career professionals, as in part of our audience, we have different people from different walks of life joining and connecting from different parts of the world. So I am young, yes, I'm still a youth. And as a young professional, what are the lessons I should look out for? Possibly, like, we have good debt, right? And I'm thinking that this can be a multiplier or a leverage for me if I actually acquire this loan and put into my business. And based off of what you said, yes, but I know that there are still some things that I still need to check out for. So what are those lessons a young still needs to look out for while considering taking their first loan? because there are so many opportunities out there, and they're like, ah, I wish I had this money at this time. So now, for example, something you want to do something and it's about 60,000, but what you have with you is just 20,000 or 30,000. What are the ways that you can advise and say, you know what, do this, do this, do this. You can make up that money and you can get this done.
Oh yeah, I prefer you defer. That's why they call it delayed gratification. You want to do something that is going to cost you 60,000 naira, you have only 20K. You either save up the money or you earn the money. For realtors, and I've done that a lot of times. Sometimes I'll tell my husband I want to travel. He will tell me, no problem. How much is your ticket? Oh yeah, go and sell. Don't borrow the money. How many plots of land would you sell to cover that ticket? Go and sell it. If you sell enough plots of land to cover the ticket, then you can travel. And he has done that to me a few times, and those things inspire me. Omo, they sell like fire in those seasons because I am compelled to push myself to achieve my goals for that season extra because of what I want to achieve. So when you have a target, you have something you want to spend money on, ask yourself, without loan, how else can I earn this money? I have wanted to acquire something. I wanted to buy a particular an SUV, was going to cost tens and tens of millions of naira. I did a job. It was over 50 million naira on the car. So I did a job. And just by doing that job, I don't need to borrow money. I gathered the money. That simple. So I have done a job. I've activated sales. I want to raise money for something. And I realized that I don't want to borrow money for this thing that I want to achieve. What other ways? If I borrowing money is my last worst case scenario. So what are the other ways I can raise these funds to achieve my goal? Then I consider the options. Either I do a sale. Many companies you see when they declare sales, it's because they're trying to raise money. So you have stock in your office and you need cash flow. You have stock at home, but you need cash flow. So you declare sales, you slash your price, reduce your profits, and stimulate new cash inflow to help you achieve your financial goal. Sometimes I decide that, okay, I do real estate, so I can only speak to real estate. We do sales sometimes because we're trying to raise funds without borrowing money. And as a realtor trying to achieve a financial mileage, a specific financial goal, one of the things I do is I would simply go aggressive on my marketing, or I bring up new listings. So if I'm currently selling land in a particular 3 or 4 estate and it's not bringing in money, I find a house to add to it. Maybe the house will be the one that will click. I would add more products to the things I'm selling to ensure that I have more options to sell, because the more things I sell, the more commission I make and the more money comes into my pocket. So if you're a realtor or you're someone who isn't earning enough to cover your bills, maybe you should join us as a realtor. That's the truth. If you are on YouTube, you'd easily see the phone number to join us as a realtor. But being a realtor helps you increase your cash flow, and it was a major blessing for me. I know that if life is happening, all I need to do is eh, um, energize myself and sell a lot more, and I have the money I need without having to borrow. Millions of naira can flow into your pocket simply because you have made a decision to actively market and sell somebody else's product. So you don't have capital, you only have your time, your energy, and you are able to earn from it. So, yes, because of my own personal story of real estate, I consider that. So I'm very, very reluctant to borrowing money. But I've attended conferences like some of you mentioned. And in those conferences, they tell you, borrow money, go and borrow. Dangote is owing money, or Tedola is owing money. All the billionaires are owing big money, and it is your own small money you are saving in the bank they are owing. But what they don't tell you is, before they went to borrow those big money, they already had a viable business. They did not borrow the money to fly private jet. They didn't borrow the money to buy designer clothes. They didn't borrow the money to eat and enter transport fare. They borrowed the money to expand their business. They borrowed the money to buy assets that were going to pay them returns. So let's apply wisdom as we're taking all of this advice. You need to be, because, oh my God, it's easy to be collecting advice. So everybody's going to be advising you. Try this one. So if you try something, be sure it's something that you are comfortable with, something that you have the, is it liver or what will I say? Something that you don't borrow money for what you will regret. Never borrow money for weddings. There are many. I should have done a list of things you not borrow money for, but like I've mentioned a few of them. Don't borrow money for your wedding ceremony. It doesn't make any sense. Marriage is a day. I mean, wedding is a day, marriage is your lifetime. Don't borrow money to fund your wedding ceremony. Don't. Don't borrow money to buy ashwebi. Don't borrow money for consumables. Don't borrow money for, you know how people go and borrow money to buy TV. I don't understand. Save your money and buy it. You borrow money to buy TV, borrow money to everything. You have, your house has TV, washing machine, AC, everything. You are paying loan on everything. That's not financial wisdom. No, delay gratification. You will not die from not having a television. But that money, if you had borrowed it and used it to expand your business or to expand your earning capacity, now we are talking. Oh, I really, really need a generator. Let me borrow money and buy a generator. Good. Like I mentioned, the person that borrowed money to buy a bed because the bed will make me sleep well, it can be seen as a debt that has positive, good spin, long-term benefits for you. Oh, a generator means that I can have my I can have light every night to go live and do my live streaming. I can generate content. I can charge my phone and work from home. A generator can mean that my food will not get spoiled. I can book bulk and free myself to have more time for my business. There are many ways you can justify some loans, but we need to be honest with ourselves. That's just the truth of the matter. Are we done?
Not yet, ma'am.
If you have gotten value, let me know you've gotten value. I need encouragement right now. My eyes are sleeping.
Hey,
My head is sleeping.
I'm
My
sending you virtual.
energy is up.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm glad that you even mentioned the fact that when people when we hear people speakers and all, and they will say borrow and this and that, they will be like, the wealthy people, they have leverage and this and that. And somebody that is earning salary will be like, shame me to not have this leverage. And then for example, now government workers, they have like cooperative and all of that. Really, is it because even Mrs. Katia Bagun during the Game of Money conference, she mentioned about the fact that she borrowed to acquire property, which is part of what you have just mentioned. That it's not that the debt is outrightly bad, or you loaning money is outrightly bad, but it is based off of what you do with the money,
Mm.
right? So now, someone that is a salary earner, possibly working with the government, and there is access to cooperative and stuff like that. How best do you think that such a person can, leverage on that avenue?
Okay. I would say max out every access to funds you have. If you have access to borrow money through cooperative, max it out. If you have access to ajo, collect it. If you have access to loan, but just ensure you put that money into an asset that can generate income, an asset that can appreciate and generate income. Cash flow, capital appreciation, two things. Is it going to bring you cash flow? Is it going to give you capital appreciation? Those two things are very important when it comes to your decision to acquire an asset. Debts are good if the debt is going into an asset. That's the thing. So whether you work as a civil servant or you work in ministry, in different department, MDAs, or you work in an organization that they have cooperative and you can access funds from the cooperative, I will tell you to access those funds. It becomes a leverage for you. And some people have access and they are letting fear hold them back. Access the fund, borrow the money, put it into real estate. Because with real estate, at least you know, but don't borrow the money and then put into liabilities, or people borrow money for, they take cooperative funds and loans to go and do burial ceremony. That's not
Okay,
wisdom.
ma'am. So, because of our time and how you are feeling, yes. So this will be the last question I'll be asking. Can a good debt become bad?
100%. A good debt can become bad when the debt no longer produces value. Imagine you buy a property with a loan and you lose the property. That automatically means the good debt becomes a bad one. God forbid you buy a car and then the car gets into an accident and you lose the entire car. A good debt becomes a bad debt. Um, let's even take it in a different way. You borrow, you take a loan, and you use it to expand your business. And then the product comes into the country and sales stalled. The good loan that could have expanded your business becomes something that cripples your business, becomes a bad debt because you can't pay it back. You now have inventory, but you don't have cash flow to pay back the debt. So a good debt can become a bad debt based on circumstances. And that's why I say you must always have all case scenarios in mind. Don't just look at it and I say, I'm expecting the very best. Yes, I'm optimistic. I pray for the best, but I also prepare if it doesn't work out. What will happen if this thing doesn't work out? What will happen if this money I'm expecting? Because some people will be like, I'll borrow the money because I'm expecting this phone. What if that money doesn't come? If you borrow the money to expand your business and increase your inventory, what if there is a delay in the inflow of your inventory? Then your good debt can become ill spoken of. So yes, good debts can become bad. It is why we need to apply wisdom in our processing, in our process of acquiring debts. That's how I'll put it.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're
Okay.
welcome. You're welcome. You're
I think
welcome. You're welcome.
viewers, okay, I'll
Do
just
you have any
conclude. I know some.
question on social media? Do
Yes,
you have any question? If you have any question, please just drop it. I have like 2 or 3 more minutes I can spend here before my eye closes down completely. Let's have a little bit of conversation. If you have a question, shoot your question. I'm so prepared. Barring any other question, thank you all so much for joining us today. We've had a great time. If you're just joining, you missed the entire program. We've shared a lot on debts, good or bad, how to manage debts, why you should um, be careful with debt, the opportunities that debt can present to you, because there are good debts that help you to achieve more, because some debts can stretch you. I hope I've been able to convince you that good debts are not all bad, but they are not all good. There are good debts that stretch you towards achieving things you were praying to achieve that would have taken you 10 years, but you can cut, reduce the time. If I'm saving towards achieving this goal, it will take me 10 years. But if I borrow money, I achieve it now, then I'm making money from that thing to live off and enjoy the benefits instead of waiting 10 years before getting it. So I get the power of debt, and it's a good thing if done well. Now, if you found yourself in a debilitating debt, you've put yourself into loans from different loan apps, don't borrow money to cover up. Negotiate your loans. Have a phone call conversations with the company you are owing money. Talk to the bank. Talk to the Reach out to the customer service of the apps. Tell them to stop charging you interest. You need to stop the interest so that you don't end up taking a loan of 10 and paying back 50 because of interest piling up. So negotiate your loan, stop the interest, create a timeline for payment and pay off those loans. Don't be an ostrich with your loan. Don't say, if I avoid it, it will go. It's not going to go anywhere. Don't avoid the loans. Confront it, face it head on, and in all you do, keep growing. Thank you all so much. I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. I won't be as tired by God's grace.